Hey, my name is Vipin Kumar and I am recording a exercise how to build and release ASP.NET 4.0 application on IIS web server with VSTS, and my IIS web server are hosted on Azure cloud. So with Visual Studio Teams service, you can test and deploy your code on the production environment. You can start VSTS with a small and scale up as needed. You can build your application in your team's favorite language like .NET, Java, or C, C++, and IDE and DevOps toolchain, whatever or not they are from Microsoft. You can also deploy your application to any platform, cloud provider, or app store using your existing DevOps infrastructure, all with ready-made or custom build tasks. So let's see how. For that, you require a access on visualstudio.com portal. So you can start with a free account. You can go ahead and create your free account there. Once you create a account and login in it, uh, you will see a home page of this cloud portal. It is loading for me. Connect your Visual Studio portal. The home page looks like this. So this is my home page, and uh, here you can create a project. So I'm creating a project for ASP.NET application. So I'm giving the name and description, and you can select version control. I'm selecting team foundation version control, and I'm leaving the default, um, and I'm creating a project. My project are getting created, and you can see the project has been created. So this is the dashboard of this project. I am not going walk through all the all the options there. You can you can explore all the options there, but you can invite team members, or you can give the access about this about this project to any of your team members. Like I'm giving the access one another groups. So I gave the access to another person. This is me, a different email account. Now you can see this project has two members. Both are mine account, but different email account are configured. This is for the Gmail account, this is for outlook.com. So once the team member assign, we'll see uh, we will see the code. So currently this project doesn't have any application code or any of the files to be built or configured. So we have to like we can import the application code from the existing version control system like Git. For example, your application code are are located on the Git, or your company has a policy to keep all the application files on a centralized location. uh, we can download or we can import the files from there. In my example, my files are located on the Git location, so I'm importing all the files from the Git location. So click here and click import repository. You can give the resource type Git or TFS, mine on the Git. So this is the GitHub location. You can go ahead and download uh, you can go ahead and download a ASP.NET sample files or project there, and I am going to import this location. Okay. So now you can see the files has been downloaded from the Git location over the Visual Studio Team service location, or on or the cloud. So you can see here files is there. You can see commits, any commits there. You can see branches. You can see all the requested, like you can see how many branches this application have on the Git location. So it has only master. You can see all the tags and pull request. So once you import your code from the source location, here the next step is going to build going to build your application. It is like if you are using the Maven, you are going to compile, you are going to compile your source code or application code. Similar way, in this tools, we are going to compile the source code. So let's look at how to build a application source code. So if you go in the build and release, go in the build options, create a new definition, and select the source. My source are VSTS Git, and leave has a sample, uh, leave has a default, and go and continue. Now select a template. So now you can see, I want to build my application with ASP.NET, so I can apply. Or if you want to compile your code with the ASP.NET Core, you can select the templates. So basically here you can select any template under which you want to be compiled or build your application. It is not limited with the Microsoft product. You can go ahead and choose the product across or beyond the Microsoft platform. Like you can use Android, and you can use even Jenkins. You can use Maven. You can use other components or product. In my example, I am going to compile or deploy my application with ASP.NET. So I select this template as a default template. So you can leave this information like this, because this is coming from the templates. And in the left hand side, these are the phases that is going to perform in your build life cycle. Like it is going to download, and you get then build solution. Uh, it is uh, it is going to perform all the activities. Then it is going to perform some of the testing or test with these values. uh, and then finally it is going to create a artifact. So artifact are going to be created with the drop name. You can go ahead and download the files with the name of drop box after completing build activity. So these values are coming from the template. You can modify if you require to change it. For me it doesn't for me I don't require to change any configuration files. So I am keeping leave like this. You can uh, you can define the value for the variables. You can define, or you can create a new variables here. I don't require to create any variables for the example code. uh, Trigger means you can schedule your build and release process. uh, since I am going to build right away, so I am not scheduling anything. These are options. This is option for retaining retaining they're retaining values like build timeout values, um, um, demands, or so many options are available. I am not changing any of the options. Retention policy, how long the backups are going to be stored. In other way, how long the build numbers are going to be stored on the TFS location, so that you can restore uh, the build if you need it. And this is a history, like how many builds are completed, how many builds are run for the for this project. So I'm leaving all the information like this, and I'm going to save and queue. So save and queue. Yeah, one more example, like you are going like these are these are the agent, these are the agent. And for the ASP.NET application, select Visual Studio 27 agent. So I'm selecting this agent, and save and queue. You can see the build one has been executed. We can see the complete process, what is running, by clicking on the build number. You can see all the activities that is going to be that is running on the particular build life cycle. So in the left hand side, all these activities are going to be complete for this particular build. Okay, my build uh, succeed successfully. So now, if I click here on the build, you can see summary. This is a complete summary. Um Associate changes. You can see all the changes. Uh, uh, it is going to talk about the test, how many tests are run, and how many pass and fail, uh, and any take or no deployment on the build uh, for this crate. So we can check the timeline. It is very good things to determine how long the build, or how long the complete build or release going to be happen on the production environment. So we can provide a estimate to the customer. Okay, particular build is going to take 30 to 45 minutes to build and release on the production environment. Then it is a artifact, as I said. Artifacts are going to be uh, 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 created in the drop folder. So you can explore. It is the zip file. This is a zip file that is containing all the compile files for the ASP.NET applications. And this uh, zip file, the content of this zip file is going to be deployed on the IIS web server to test our application build and release. So you can see the test. Uh, you can see all the all the tests completed on this build or application code with the complete information here. So once build has been completed, the next step is you know uh, create a release. So before releasing any application, we required a machine or environment location where we require to release or deploy this application. So first we need to create a uh, uh, deployment group. So for example, you want to create a deployment group for the development environment. So we can say environment. Okay, so type of the target register, be careful while click on this option. If if your target machine or if your build machine are Windows machine, then select Windows option. If it is a Linux machine, select Linux. So since I am deploying this code on the Windows IIS box, so I am selecting a target of Windows, and use a personal access and copy this script into the clipboard and execute it on the target machine where do you want to deploy your code. So basically this step uh, are going to be installed uh, uh, are going to be installed a VSTS agent on the machine, and the agent will talk with the Visual Studio Manager console, and they will establish a communication. So when you start a releasing your code on the machine agent or on the machine, VSTS agent will accept a request from the VSTS console and deploy and agree to deploy the code on the server. So this step are going to be installed and set up the VSTS agent on the target machine. So this is my machine. This is the target machine, and open the PowerShell or run the PowerShell as a administrator. If you right click, run as administrator, and just paste it and enter it. So it is going to be installed a VSTS agent on this machine, and they are going to establish a connection between target machine and VSTS manager or console for the further communication. So basically, this is a encoded a certificate information, for the authentication. Enter deployment group. So we say yes, and we can say this is going to be a web server. So I'm assigning a tag and enter the account to use the service account. Yes. So now you can see here the agent has been installed and configured correctly. Now this machine are uh, communicating, or this machine is communicating with VSTS console. So we can verify like here. Okay, you can see here one is online, that is our machine. This is my machine, Dev IIS, and you can see a tag. So this is the machine, this is target machine, and you can see any deployment never deployed. So basically this is the machines where we are going to deploy. So you can see here, you can verify here. This is the host name, Dev IIS, and this is the host name. dev IIS, the machine name. One more thing, on this machine IIS and ASP.NET is already installed, and you can see in the local host the default IIS space is coming. After code deployment or release, you will see a ASP.NET home page on this link. For example, if you type uh, localhost, localhost, you will see a ASP.NET page on the localhost URL. So uh, since everything is okay, agent has been installed, configured, and reporting perfectly or successfully. Now create a release definition, and after that we are going to run a release. So if you go in the releases, create a new definition, and now you have to select a template. Since I'm going to be deploy the application on IIS website deployment, apply, and now you have to add a artifact, means you have to add a code which you want to deploy on the server. Since we just had a build, so we can go build with the latest and add it. Now environment, change it with DevOps dev, and so now we can go ahead and environment dev, and task. So these are tasks are going to be deploy, and this is the environment name. This is the environment name we gave it. So basically it is a pipeline, the first pipeline we have to in the first pipeline we added a artifact. In the second pipeline, uh, we gave the environment name, and configuration item is a IIS website. You can select any of the options, but I am selecting a IIS website. Action, you can see click or update. I'm going to update. So it is fine. And the website name, you can give the website name into the variables. So I don't have any customized website name. I'm using the default website. You can add a binding, so binding information you can also provide in the variables. So by default it is unassigned on port 80. That's okay. Now, give the deployment group. It means that provide a target machine where do you want to deploy. So once you give the target and everything, it is going to be, uh, the target. Uh, give the target name here, and these are templates or steps that is going to be complete over there. So code are going to be deployed on C inetpub www root folder, and this is the default path of the IIS web server. If you have changed it, then give it a different location to deploy the code. So once everything is okay, you can confirm that everything is okay. Then you can save it. So like uh, now this is second step, IIS web app deploy. So the files are going to be deployed called drop.zip file, and it is going to be unzip there and deploy all the content of the zipping file there. So once everything is okay, you can see you can predefined variables. There are variables that is predefined, but you can add it. uh, you know these are predefined variables, but you can add your customized variable. Retention policy same. I'm not changing anything. So my pipeline looks good. It has a artifact. It has the uh, environment, one phase and two tasks. So save it, So now I'm creating a release. So select the environment. I'm selecting the environment dev and create. So now the release has been initiated, uh, and this is going to be uh, run on two phases. We can see, okay, so we can see here release. Okay, this is a release, but you can see here deployment status is not deployed. So go ahead and deploy. So once you click on the deploy button, the release are going to be initiated on the machine. So you can go ahead and check in the logs what activities are currently happening for the release. So you can see that IS deployment part has been completed. Now the build or release has been successfully completed. All the phases has been done. We can go ahead check the summary. You can see succeed. It means that code has been deployed on the IS web server. We can verify since before code deployment. Uh, we are getting the default IIS page on the local host URL, and if I try to access the localhost URL now, I should get a ASP.NET page if the release successfully done. Oh yes. So now you can see here, uh, instead of getting IS default page, I am getting ASP.NET page that that is part of the release that is completed by VSTS. So this is the page, and we can verify the content of the content what content deployed by console. uh, so here you can see here the content deployed by the VSTS, like a web.config file, the global.x file, bin folder, font and script. So now you can see here how it is easy uh, easy to code, deploy and release on the production environment. We took a example of ASP.NET, but I have tested Java based application, and it is very smooth and very quick, and um, uh, moreover, it is a compatible for all the devices, all the platforms, every or all the DevOps infrastructure. So you can try, or you can a uh, take a look on the VSTS, and this is approach uh, a complete approach for the build and release automation by using the Visual Studio Team Service. Like you can configure a pipeline or summary after what is the status of any release. So you can configure a lot of things. So uh, go ahead and use or test the VSTS, and it is a coming product from the Microsoft that is going to be compete or competitor for the uh, build and release enterprise tools like Urban Code or udeploy, or or maybe Jenkins. But I still love in Jenkins. But after looking at the features and functions, there is no long way when this tool is going to compete all the CI/CD tools. So thank you very much for the watching the video. Have a nice day. Thank you.